Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Salute to the hopeful elect, pushing this word in truth and sincerity, hoping to receive mercy from Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh. Yahweh is the name of our Heavenly Father, that's who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, and that's who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Latinos, we are the Israelites according to the prophecies of the Holy Scriptures. This is the brother Shamar from the GMS Jamaica camp, and here to do a lesson inspired by this article here. I'm going to read some paragraphs from it. We hit some precepts. I pray this lesson is edifying. Now, this is articles from the Jamaica Gleaner, free but not cheap, Jamaica's big and costly bet on public Wi-Fi, because Jamaica, like a lot of countries globally, are going towards a digital economy, a digital framework. This initiative is being pushed primarily by the United Nations. They're pushing it globally, and countries like Jamaica and all over the globe, they're pushing this agenda because in this agenda, everyone is going to be chipped, because the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is a tiny C-hip, a microchip. And you're going to need free Wi-Fi in these, what the UN calls smart cities or 15-minute cities. Everyone is going to have to be monitored on the grid. So you're seeing free Wi-Fi going up everywhere globally. And it's here in Jamaica. So let me read some pieces of this from the Gleaner. The government plans to expand the free public Wi-Fi by 40% this fiscal year with a new tender, which is a formal offer, tender for broadband service in Ocho Rios, St. Ann, forming part of the wider push to modernize the national digital infrastructure. Right? The expansion comes with rising costs. The Universal Service Fund, the government agency responsible for executing the project, is projecting a $2.8 billion deficit this year, following a $2.8 billion shortfall last fiscal year. The USF has issued a tender for a service provider to install and manage public Wi-Fi infrastructure across key areas of Ocho Rios, including Main Street and Turtle River Park. So they're going to focus on key areas in this article. They're referring to Ocho Rios. They're going to hit key areas in different cities. So therefore, you'll be monitored wherever you're going. They're going to push population towards these urban centers or these key areas so that you can be tracked and monitored once the MOTB goes mandatory, right? And the leaders of countries like Jamaica, I mean, they have sold out to the higher powers of the United Nations, to the devil, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, right, who's pushing this agenda. But ultimately, the Lord is pushing this agenda because it's the Lord's microchip. So the Lord controls both the right hand and the left hand side. It's just that the so-called white man doesn't know that, right? But let me get Jeremiah 5 verse 26 for the sellouts of all people. For among my people are found wicked men, they lay wait. As he that setteth snares, they set a trap, they catch men. And one such trap is this digital infrastructure you're seeing being rolled out, not for your convenience, but to track and monitor you once the MOTB goes mandatory. Right? And there's wicked people among the nation of Israel that's going to push our enemy's agenda. Right? For filthy lucre's sake, they're sellouts, man. They're Judas goats. Let me read some more of the article. Right? We hope Ochi, which is Ocho Rios, will lead the way, but connectivity must extend to all parishes, which goes back to the point I was previously making. Even though they start here in Ocho Rios, or this article is focusing on Ocho Rios, you're going to see it being rolled out in certain key, quote-unquote, key areas where most of the population is going to be herded towards so that they can be monitored, tracked. and tracked. And in that time when the MOTB goes mandatory, anybody that doesn't go along with that to buy and sell, they shall be ostracized out of society and not going to be able to participate in economics, in buying and selling, right? So it's going to be a wild west survival of the fittest, basically a time of great trouble, and we'll get those precepts. Matter of fact, let me get that. No, let me see. Right. Let me get this first for the sellouts. This is 1 Timothy 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So a lot of the leaders that is pushing this agenda, right? They're doing it for filthy lucre's sake. They're doing it for the love of money, right? They're not doing it for the greater good of the people. They're doing it because they're pushing these agendas because they're being paid to do it, paid very well, right? This is Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. God, there's nothing new under the sun, man. We have sellouts among our people who are pushing our enemy's agenda today. In back in biblical days, in the time of the book when Ecclesiastes was written, these things were going on as well. This is Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. We have sellouts in today's time. We had sellouts in ancient days as well. Let me get Daniel 12 verse 1, because I was saying that anyone that's not done with this new digital infrastructure, the time of the mark of the beast, when everything is tracked, and there's going to be a time of great tribulation for those that not participate in the system, that want to operate off the grid. It's going to be a war zone among those people, man. Right? This is Daniel 12 verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Right? And the time that this is talking about is the end time, man. So in the end time, there's going to be a time of great trouble. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. You know, and that's talking about the elect that shall be saved. Lord willing, I'm one of those men. You know, hope, pray, and we're doing the works to the best of our ability so that hopefully we can be saved in that day. Right? But there's going to be a time of great trouble for those who are not participating in that digital infrastructure system with the MOTB at the center of it. Right? As it is written. And the Lord is bringing that. So let me see if I can get some more of the article. Well, on the point that the Lord is bringing it, a precept just came to mind. Proverbs 21 verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So it's the Lord that is using the so-called white man, who is Esau Edom, to push this MOTB agenda, to push the mark and push the digital infrastructure so the mark can come into play, the mandatory implementation of the chip. Right? It's the Lord bringing it, because as it is written, the king's heart, which is the mind, the word heart goes back to the Hebrew word lab, which means mind. The mind of the Lord is controlled, the mind of the king Salakia is controlled by the Lord. So it's the Lord pushing this, therefore it must come to pass. Let me skip down to a couple paragraphs. As Jamaica moves towards a digital-first future, the government's public Wi-Fi expansion reflects a growing recognition that internet access is no longer a luxury, it is a public good, she added. So public internet is a public good. That's what they're saying. It's going to be of utmost importance in the future that they see. Why is that? Because once the mandatory mark of the beast, which is that tiny chip that will be inserted in you, it's going to need to be tracked on the grid, on the digital system via the internet. It's going to have to be tracked, the movement, the information being sent to the chip, being sent to the chip and from the chip. It's going to all have to be tracked through the system, through that internet grid. So we're seeing the infrastructure for that kind of hardcore system, that draconian system being put in place right now. Right? But the elect shall be saved in that time. So let me just finish with this precept. This is Matthew 24, verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right? So we're going to have to endure that time of great trouble. We're going to have to endure all the mass killings going on in that time. The survival of fitness, a good visual you can have for that time is in the movie Purge. Even the movie The First Purge. It's going to be that kind of survival of the fitness, survival of the fittest kind of atmosphere. Right? So the Lord is going to have his elect that he's going to save from those perils, man. So we're seeing the Lord is pushing forth his prophecy as it was written that it will happen, which with the digital infrastructure being put in place, right? And this is happening globally. So prophecy is coming to pass. But ultimately these things must come to pass before the elect will be saved and the nation of Israel shall be delivered. Right? The elect of the nation of Israel will be delivered. So all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Shem Yashai, Bashem Rakak Kodash, and shalom to the elect.